Have you ever reached the point where your alarm goes off in the morning and your heart sinks? Maybe you're lying awake at 3 a.m. thinking about work. Maybe your heart races on the drive into work. Maybe you feel sick before you've even walked through the door. And yet you keep telling yourself exactly the same thing every single day. I have no choice. If that sounds familiar, I want you to stay with me because today I want to talk about something I see far more often than people realize. Recently, I came across a post from someone. They talked about waking up anxious, struggling to sleep, feeling physically unwell before work, and desperately wanting to leave, but believing that they couldn't. They weren't staying because they loved their job. They were staying because they had responsibilities. Children, bills, a mortgage, the fear of not finding something that paid as well. And the sentence that really stayed with me was, I know I have no choice. That sentence stopped me in my tracks because I don't think that's what they were really saying. I think what they were really saying was, I can't see another option right now. And there's a huge difference between those two things. When we're exhausted, overwhelmed, or burnt out, our brains don't work the same way. We become survival focused. Our world becomes smaller. And instead of seeing all the possibilities, we start seeing barriers. I can't afford it. I'm too old. I'm not qualified. I've got children. What if I fail? And before we know it, we've convinced ourselves that staying exactly where we are is the only option. Now, don't get me wrong. Sometimes there really are practical reasons why you can't hand in your notice tomorrow. I'm not suggesting that you quit your job on impulse, but I do think it's worth asking yourself, have you genuinely explored your options? Or has exhaustion convinced you that there aren't any? Because those are two very different things. One of the things that stood out to me in that post was that they'd already taken leave. They were hoping a break would fix everything, and it didn't. And I think so many of us have done the same. We tell ourselves, I just need a holiday. I just need the weekend. I just need Christmas to be over. But sometimes the problem isn't that you need rest. Sometimes the problem is that you're living a life that's no longer aligned with who you are now. No amount of annual leave can fix that. Another thing I noticed was how much their body was trying to tell them that something was wrong. They weren't just saying they disliked work, they were describing panic, poor sleep, feeling physically ill, shaking. Our bodies are incredibly good at letting us know when something is not right. The difficult part is that we often ignore those signals because we think that we have to keep going. We've normalized saying things like, that's just nursing, that's just adulthood. Everyone feels like this. Do they? Or have we simply become used to living in survival mode? And here's the part that I really want you to think about. When someone says, I have no choice, what I actually hear is someone who's carrying an enormous amount of responsibility. Responsibility can make us feel trapped, but feeling trapped doesn't always mean that we are. Sometimes it means we've been carrying so much for so long that we no longer have the energy to imagine a different future. And that's why I think clarity is so important. Not because clarity magically solves your problems, but because clarity helps you separate facts from fear. It helps you ask, what is genuinely stopping me? And what story have I started believing because I'm exhausted? And those are very different questions. Maybe the answer is staying where you are for another year while you make a plan. Maybe it's changing departments. Maybe it's updating your CV. Maybe it's applying for one job this week. Maybe it's speaking to someone you trust. The point isn't to make a huge decision today. The point is to stop believing that you don't have one. Because every meaningful change starts with one small step. So if you've been telling yourself, I have no choice, I'd like to leave you with one question. Is that actually true? Or is it simply the only thing your exhausted mind can see right now? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Have you ever felt trapped in a job? What helped you move forward? And if this conversation resonated with you, I would love it if you subscribed, because these are exactly the kinds of conversations we have here every single week. Now remember, take care of you.